Hi, this is Stan Bush.
Hi, this is Stephanie Calvert.
This is John Payne.
This is Jack Hughes.
Hey everyone, this is Britt Lightning from Vixen.
Hi, I'm Carrie Stevens.
Hello, I'm Kofi Baker.
And you're listening to Play That Rock and
Roll. During this time, in the late 80s, you mentioned you're doing some studio work with Whitney Houston. Were you doing studio work with other artists, and is that what got the attention of Steve's band?
No. Well, at the time, so there was a group, Scritti. Do you remember Scritti Politti?
No, that
Scritti
sounds great though.
Yeah, Scritti Politti they were like the early 80s. They were kind of a techno pop European thing that had some medium hits in the R&B. Then they wanted me to be their first keyboard player. They got skittish before they went out live.
Oh, okay.
So there was that. I did a bit of work with Kenny G. I'm on his record. Got a chance to sing with Whitney. But when that record deal didn't happen, we went back to Virginia because we had worked in the entertainment department at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. We went back to Virginia, back to working in the theme park, right? Which, could be could be degrading if you allow it to be. But at Busch Gardens,
right?
Well, yeah, back at Busch Gardens, I wound up writing a bunch of songs for all of the people that I worked with. So I wound up writing about 40 different songs. And because I played in a mini orchestra in the Italian show, playing the accordion in a little Italian costume, I wound up having the idea of taking these 40 songs and orchestrating them out and doing a concert at the end of the year. So just for the fun of it, I became an arranger, right? So at Busch Gardens, and this thing that could have been really degrading, right? If you choose to see it that way. I was just, making the most of the moment. And I wound up becoming an arranger, learned about how rehearsals are different when brass players are involved, because they can't sit there and hold a note until you figure out, which note you need to change. I learned all those things in real time. So between New York and coming back from New York, I wound up becoming a better musician. How I got the Steve Miller gig. In 1990, I moved from Virginia to Nashville. It seemed like I had used up all my options in Virginia, and I had come to Nashville to sing on this movie soundtrack that didn't happen, a movie called Mother Dixie. They wanted the title song sung. And I sung it. They liked my voice. And I just liked the area. People were asking me to work. I came in unannounced. There was work that I had to turn down because I had to go back. I was like, I kind of like this place. It's kind of a city built off of music. I love it.
Yeah.
So I went back to my then girlfriend who was picking me up. I was telling her how much I liked Nashville, and she was sitting in the car going, if we're going to move to Nashville, we need a sign, she's saying to herself. And as I get off the Greyhound bus for her to pick me up, beside our Datsun 210 pulls up a U-Haul truck with Nashville, Tennessee on the side. It's the only time I've ever seen Nashville on the side of a U-Haul was that day.
Wow.
So the stars aligned, I moved to Nashville. So as soon as we moved to Nashville, we go, okay, we're going to get married, we're going to have a child. So we get married in November of 1990. 11 months later, we have our first baby. I'm working, but it's not as much money as I'd like it to be. I got plenty of work, not enough money. In 1993, I do a recording session with a songwriter named Chris McCarty. Chris McCarty is a co-writer on the song Swingtown and another song on Steve Miller Band on the Wide River records. I think the song was called Horse and Rider. But anyway.
Yeah, I like that song.
Yeah, so he knew of the opening in the Steve Miller Band. So I'm working with him. He goes, man, you'd be perfect for this. I like your work. You can sing. You'd be perfect for that gig. And I was doing 2 days with him. So, I kind of blew it off a little bit because the the big opportunity is always out there. The second day he goes, look, man, you should have sent that audition tape in yesterday. So he gave me Steve's mailing address. And now I'm like, okay, if I have his mailing address, I'd be really negligent not to send something in. Right. So what I did a funky loop of abracadabra. So abracadabra is, I did. I did a funky loop.
Oh,
I put a piano solo on it, an organ solo, a synth solo. And then at the time I was sort of one of the ways I was supporting myself, I would have the sound-alike work. And this is the work that you get, like when you see karaoke tracks.
Yeah.
Or when you go to the fair and they have a studio and you can go, well, they can't license the real tracks for you to sing those songs. Okay. So I would get the vocal work to sound like an artist. So I would get all the R&B sound-alikes, all the hip-hop sound-alikes. So I had done a sound-alike for Boyz II Men's a cappella, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. So that Steve would know that I sung harmony, I sent that on my audition tape also, and then I sent in the piece of me singing with Whitney Houston so he would know that I had done it. And I got the gig. He called me on March the 12th, 1993.
93, right.
31 years ago. And then we're coming up on the anniversary of my first gig with him, which was Earth Day, April 22nd.
Oh.
In 93 at the Target Center in Minneapolis.
Oh man, so were you now? Obviously, you've been performing, your whole life at that point. But going out on the road with this new band, for you, was it intimidating? Were you nervous, or how did you feel about going on that first tour?
No, I wasn't nervous because I've been playing my whole life. I knew that I could play well enough to do it. But you do want to do a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like just playing at the club. Right. You know what I mean? I knew that there was more required. When you're playing for a boss of that stature, you want to make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's. What I remind people is that once he let me know that he liked my playing, it wasn't over yet, right? It wasn't like I like his playing, he's in the band. He had to meet me first.
Yep.
And that's the part that a lot of musicians don't work on enough, even on a work day. If we have a long sound check in a show, maybe that's 3 hours of playing, right? If I play 3 hours on a work day, that's a lot of playing. Yeah. Well, the other 21 is what helps you keep the gig, right? And too many of us just spend right? We spend time practicing on the instrument, not working enough on the person off the instrument. Because there's plenty of keyboard players that play well enough to play the Steve Miller Band gig. Sure. But you want to make sure that once you get your chance, that he doesn't want other people. So I call it being good at the things that don't require talent, like being prepared.
Yes.
Looking the part, being on time, being easy to be around, keeping an eye on who you are when you feel like you're right and he's wrong. That's the one that gets people a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
You think you're wrong, he's wrong, you're right, you have a right to say whatever you want, however you want to say it. But, that's not the case. Only one name is on the front of the check, right?
Yeah.